Hi guys, I'm Jay living in Seoul. This channel is for Korean language and culture. I hope you enjoy. BTS Suga August D Min Yoongi's new mixtape and music video Daechwita were recently released. The scene was so beautiful, it looked like a movie full of stories. The combination of Yoongi's rap and Korean traditional music was new and intense. There were so many historical and cultural references in it, and also there's something that Yoongi wanted to say through it. I think a single video is not enough to explain all of them. So I'm gonna make a series of 2 explanatory videos for this music video. The first video will be for the culture and historical background, and the other one is for figuring out the message that he wanted to convey. Okay, so today I'm gonna talk about the historical setting behind the music video in more details. In the music video, there were 2 August D's. Blonde one is August D of 2016. I call him D1, and the other is black-haired, and I call him D2. Number 1. Where does this music come from? The first cultural background that I want to say is Daechwita. The title of the song, Daechwita, is a marching music played when a king marches or the army wins a war. This is a combination word of Chinese characters. Dae means great or big, Chwi means blow, and Ta means beat or hit. Daechwita literally means great blowing and hitting. It is a Korean traditional music genre consisting of 3 wind instruments and 4 percussion instruments. 나발, 나각, 태평소, 북, 징, 잡아라, 장구. This is music that informs the king's journey and the soldiers' victory. Yoongi said it reminded him of BTS and army. Yeah, they are kings and winning. Number 2. Where did the setup of 2 kings come from? Have you ever heard of the movie Gwanghae? Gwanghae-gun was the 15th king of the Joseon dynasty. Among many kings, the interpretation of him is starkly different. He carried out good policies such as reforming the tax system that made the lives of all the people better, and he carried out his foreign policy well, but he was deposed for immoral reasons. So some people say he was a great king and others say he was an evil. The evaluation of evicted person is recorded by the person who actually ousted. It is difficult for an ousted person to get a good evaluation. History is the record of winners. The views on both sides described in the Gwanghae are so different that it is as if he's like absolutely 2 different people. So film's hypothesis was based on a cinematic imagination. If the King Gwanghae of Joseon was actually 2 people, not 1, the movie story is like this. The king who was in a politically precarious position in the movie told his servant to get someone who looked like him to prepare for a dangerous situation. Thus, a clown named Hasan was called to the king and replaced by the king. In the movie, the real king was kind of cold, but the fake King Hasan was humane and warm and did good politics for the people. One of the 2 kings in the movie is a royal family from blood and the other was from the low class. But both August D's in the music video are from the same origin, but they have taken different paths since the release of their first mixtape in 2016. Number 3. Why are the king's clothes and chairs black? If you have ever seen Korean historical dramas, do you remember the colors of the clothes the king wore? Yes, the king's clothes are red, but in the music video, Suga is wearing black clothes. The reason is that the color is related to Gwanghae. I told you that the interpretation of Gwanghae, the king of Joseon, is clearly divided. The biggest reason for this is that he became king in the difficult time but eventually expelled from the throne. Joseon was founded in 1392 and lasted 518 years before it was invaded by Japan in 1910 with 27 kings in the meantime. During this long period of time, there was a huge crisis in the country, one of which was the Japanese invasion of Joseon in 1592. The evaluation of King Seonjo, the father of Gwanghae-gun, is very bad because they were not prepared for war. They were easily invaded and caught up in a big war. When Japan invaded, the king fled, and his son Gwanghae remained and solved many problems. Gwanghae, who was in the late teens, traveled around every corner of Joseon to calm down and reassure the people. It is said that Gwanghae's popularity has increased nationwide due to its active efforts to calm the chaos caused by the war. King Seonjo, who fled during the war, returned to Seoul in 1598, but was jealous of his son, who became popular. At that time, the crown prince also wore red clothes like a king, but the king hated it. So he had his son wear different colors of clothes, and since then, the crown prince has worn a black or navy robe. There are 5 dragon toenails on the king's clothes, 곤룡포, but 4 dragon toenails on the crown prince's clothes seem to be a similar reason. The color of navy or black became the symbol of 광해군. In fact, he wore red clothes after he became king, and his throne was also red, but in the music video his seats and attires were all black. I guess it's for creating a dark vibe. Number 4. Where did the Sakka scene come from? When the song Daechwita rang out, the blonde Auguste walked the palace, and the black-haired Auguste walked the streets of the market. The two in the market is wearing a hat sakat on his head. Sakat was used during the Joseon dynasty to protect ordinary farmers from sunlight. At that time, the king secretly sent high-ranking officers down to the village to observe whether administrative affairs were being handled well, and the king went to the village in commoner's costume to watch how the people lived. The two walked through the market wearing a sakat is like a description of the king's visit to the people in disguise. In this scene, Yoongi looks especially beautiful. The director of the scene is said to have filmed the famous movie Romance of Their Own. The scene where Kang Do-won lifted an umbrella in the rain and reveals his face was so famous that it has been parodied countless times since then. Actually, some Korean armies said it reminded them of the movie as soon as the music video was released. Number 5. Who made eye contact with D2 in the market? During the Joseon dynasty, there were classes. Of course, the highest rank in Joseon was the king, followed by scholars, 선비, the next highest rank. The next was administrative officers, doctors, or interpreters who handled practical tasks. And there were farmers who were farming, and merchants who were doing business, and the people who were treated the lowest were called 천민, which included slaves, 기생, shamans, and 백정. 백정 refers to people who have jobs in slaughtering animals. Joseon was a Confucian society, so it was looked negatively as slaughtering meat, even while enjoying the meat. One of the other occupations in the Joseon dynasty was called 망나니. These 망나nis are professional executioners. However, they were part of the 백정 group who are butchers. In the music video Dark Suga, D2 exchanged signals with the 백정, which deals with meat in the market during the day, and at night he became a 망나니 and came to execute the death penalty. So this is theoretically possible in historical background because Dark Suga D2 already captured people's heart by communicating with them on the street. 망나니 has helped him by being on his side. D1 stepped on his retainer's back, but D2 looked at the eyes of the lowest ranked man. That seems to be the biggest difference between D1 and D2. Number 6. Where did Auguste bring up the word right chest that he tried to lock up the past? It's like a storage box. No Korean would use this word 뒤주 in their daily lives anymore. Then why did Yoongi choose this word? This is because he wanted to convey a specific emotion. A box called 뒤주 once appeared on the stage of history. King Yeongjo was the 21st king of Joseon. He made many good policies for the people. He was very smart. Not only he liked studying, but also tried very hard. So he became a king with outstanding achievements and abilities. But he had a complex about his origins because his mother was a concubine. So he thought his son had to study tremendously to succeed too. His high expectations for a son close to abuse eventually made his son mentally ill. For political and personal reasons, he locked his son in a 뒤주 rice chest and starved him to death in 8 days. So if Yoongi says he locked something in the 뒤주 rice chest, it means he's going to lock it up completely. Number 7. Where does this magnificent building come from? Is the palace set in the music video a real Gwanghaegun era building? There are 5 Joseon Dynasty palaces in Seoul. The Depending on the times, the king lived in different palaces and carried out political tasks. Gwanghaegun stayed at Changdeokgung Palace. Changdeokgung is in Seoul. It is located in a complex city center, but inside it has a beautiful and peaceful sacred garden. You can travel to the past in an instant from a huge metropolitan city. The difference between Korean and Western palaces is that buildings with different purposes are scattered separately. The place where Gwanghaegun worked was Injeongjeon. When you look at the beginning of the music video, the word Injeongjeon is written in Chinese characters. But if you visit Seoul and stop by Changdeokgung Palace, you can see this Injeongjeon building of the music video. Actually, the building in the music video is a set of Daejanggeum Temple in Yongin, Gyeonggi Province. But the set building is different from the actual Injeongjeon because it is a Goryeo palace called Hwaegyeongjeon, which was built for dramas of the Goryeo dynasty. Today I introduced the historical and cultural background underlying this music video. How did you like this video to take a deeper look at culture? Did you enjoy it? If you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe. In the next video, I'm gonna interpret what Suga wanted to say based on the lyrics. See you in the next video. Bye!